Hae-wook answered firmly, yes. And he will tell Lawyer Choi about it first before getting back to Tae-jun. Tae-jun told him to not forget to get back to him. Tae-jun hung up the phone, looking smug. He's not backing down and is putting his plan into action. Well, then, shall I go to the future team department now? In the TF team office, piles and piles of books were thrown at So-eun. Manager Han, please check if these books and Excel records match. Her face sank at the amount of works. And not only this, Tae-jun also printed the Excel files, or so she thought. She frowned at him of the unfairness. He asked, "What? Do you think I'm bothering you by making you work in a fake position?" From May 27th to July 15th of last year. Check it. She looked at the computer screen Excel and the printed paper. A year ago in May and July. She cannot believe she even had to look for the files, then she noticed. The numbers are completely different. Tae-jun didn't just print the file from the Excel. She opened her mouth to ask a question. But he asked her, "You get it now? I need you to find all those things," while giving her an angelic smile. So-eun almost shattered. It cannot be. I need to check everything. What kind of future business team's work is this? Why not just pass this to the administration team? Unaffected by her mood, Tae-jun said pleasantly, "If you don't understand, please let me know." So-eun cried and answered that she understood. She cannot do anything about it anyways. Might as well accept her fate. Her glasses are going to have blue light protection for the screen. After observing her miserable look, Tae-jun cannot help but tell her to stop there for the day and go eat something. Her expression changed instantaneously and asked, "Together?" He asked, "You don't want to?" Of course. She does not want to. But she declined in a nicer way. "Can't I just go home and eat there?" He asked, "Why? Do you have an appointment?" She answered, "No. It's just that I wanted to rest after I finished working." He questioned, "We started our new team's operations. Shouldn't we go to celebrate it?" She thought in horror. "I'm the only member of this team. How can we celebrate it like this?" Tae-jun asked innocently, "Do you feel uncomfortable eating with me?" So-eun replied with her expression, "Isn't it obvious?" "Oh, damn it." Tae-jun forced a tear, wiped the tear he tried hard to shed, and reasoned. "There are a lot of places that I don't know in this city since it hasn't been long since I moved here. I don't have anyone to go eat with me." It took everything in her power not to lash out at him. She held in her anger, but cursed silently. Then just go alone. In the end, she ended up going with him. "I hate this, I really do. I wonder what he is going to randomly say today." There's no other way to predict his actions. He's crazy. A cold and lonely crazy man. Tae-jun, who now is cheerful, asked, "Would you like to have meat?" So-eun, who was just cursing in her mind, instantly drooled. Meat? Comparing the nearby meat restaurants in her mind. If we are going to have meat, we should go somewhere suitable for a company dinner. Wait, we have to grill the meat there. We cannot go there. She decided against it. "No, I don't want that." Tae-jun leaned slightly over and said, "I thought it would be nice to go drink something while eating meat." She reasoned that she's not really in the mood to drink right now. He asked, what would she like to eat? She thought she should choose something they can eat fast, then opened her mouth to say, "I want past." Before she finished, he cut her off. Excluding that, she said, "Kimba." He said sharply, "No kimbap either." She frowned at him. Then why did he ask me in the first place? And he frowned back at her before asking, "Do you like Japanese food?" She thought it met all the requirements. Nearby, it's good and they served a lot of rice. And they can eat quickly. That's it. Yes. As he drove, she caught glimpses at him, wondering why he hadn't said anything for a while. Well, he was also quiet when he was driving yesterday, but it's making her feel more anxious. Come to think of it, this is the third time they've been in a car together, isn't it? The first time was when she went to meet with Hae-wook Oppa, and he dropped her off in the middle of the road. The second time was yesterday when he gave her a ride home, and they talked in front of her house. So what's going to happen this time? Is he going to make her catch their food and then leave by himself? And her imagination of this time made her let out a laugh. Sometimes, you just have to talk in your head and laugh by yourself, right? Tae-jun glanced over to see her chuckling to herself. Upon reviewing the menu, So-eun wanted to shout loudly, "What are these prices?" She should just go with something safe in case. Then she told him, she'll have the wagyu udon. Tae-jun stated the most delicious thing in this place is the sushi. She really wanted to eat that, but she cannot afford to order it. So she lied that she does not like sushi. He snapped his menu closed and stated, "Then I made a mistake bringing you here." She reasoned, "It's okay. I like udon." He said he will remember that then, and told the server to bring in 2 wagyu udons. She said she didn't want to eat 2 bowls of udon. He answered one was for himself. She thought, what a strange man. He's been bothering her so much lately, but he suddenly invites her to eat with him. She wondered what he's plotting this time, as if a light bulb clicked in her mind. Wait, don't tell me that. He was genuinely sad because he didn't have any friends to eat with him? That could be the case. I guess it's difficult for him to make friends with that split personality that changes so often. Also, he sometimes gets really sensitive about my boyfriend. Maybe his dating life is not working well either. Now that I think of it, I feel a little pity for him. I cannot believe that there are some things that don't work out even for someone like him. She looked at him with puppy eyes, feeling sorry for him. Confused of her expression, he asked, "What's wrong?" She denied, "It's nothing." Tae-jun wondered what was happening with her. She has been smiling and tearing up. "You look so happy, Han So-eun. I cannot wait to see you when Sunday comes." After dinner, So-eun told Tae-jun that she really enjoyed the food. Same with him, he enjoyed it as well. Since it's pretty late, he suggested to drive her home. She thanked him, but she could not believe that. He didn't talk about anything but work during dinner. This is the first time they talked about something productive. She didn't expect to actually have a normal company dinner. She thought it was a fake team. But still, it's Tae-jun they're talking about. She cannot lower her guard until she gets home. As she buckled her belt, her phone rang. It was from Hae-wook Oppa. She cried. Why such terrible timing? Should she answer him? Glancing at Tae-jun, he doesn't seem so interested this time. All right, this is my chance. I'll show him that we patched things up well between us. If I don't answer, it would only contradict what I told him before, right? She nervously asked, Excuse me, is it okay if I pick up the call? He told her to go ahead. Great. Now I just have to act cheerful. She answered the call. Oppa. On the other line, Oppa asked if she was home. Was she sleeping? She said she's not. She was still at the company. Hae-wook commented, she sure works hard. Did she have dinner? So-eun answered she did already. Hae-wook said something, but Tae-jun coughed loudly so she couldn't hear what Hae-wook said. She asked Hae-wook to repeat again, but Tae-jun now is having a coughing fit. So-eun then had to pause Hae-wook to ask if Tae-jun is okay. He waved his hand that it's okay. Don't mind. Hae-wook asked what that sound was. So-eun said it was nothing, and what was he saying? Hae-wook said that he's going on a sudden business trip this weekend. Her forced happy mood changed. She asked to where. Hae-wook said to Japan. It's going to be for 2 days and 1 night. He will leave on Saturday and come back on Sunday. He wanted to ask if she can take care of his mother during the weekend. They can go have fun after she comes back. Her mood sour. That the date was when he promised they would discuss their marriage. But she couldn't tell him not to go. She swallowed her unhappiness and told him to take care. It's not what she expected. This is not supposed to happen. She doesn't want things to be like this once again. Tae-jun asked if her boyfriend is going on a business trip this weekend. Are you also going to take care of his mother once again? Do you want me to help you? Would you like me to give you a special weekend? You don't have to work overtime tomorrow. You can go home on time. However, you'll have to work during the weekend. Of course, I'll pay you the same for working overtime. She declined his offer and stated that she wanted to take care of her mother-in-law too. She thanked him for his concerns. Her answer upset him. He wasn't happy about it, and his hand unconsciously clenched the steering wheel. He scolded her internally. You haven't changed at all, Han So-eun. How are you not any different after 20 years? It's just like back then. Tae-jun frowned, wanted to cry thinking about his So-eun, still being all happy even though she's hurt. While at the same time, So-eun thought, if she can endure until Sunday, then everything should be all right. Forcing himself, he told her, then they should work overtime as usual tomorrow. Saturday morning, Soon arrived at the hospital. The mother-in-law thought she was busy. Isn't she pushing herself too hard to visit? Soon answered that it's okay. She just woke up a little earlier today. She felt relieved that the mother-in-law's behavior this time was better than last time. She thought she would feel uncomfortable, but maybe Hae-wook talked things out. She believed she was too harsh last time, so she has to behave better now. She asked if mother was feeling better this week. The nurse said she was not feeling too well. The mother-in-law said she's better than last week. Soon was glad to hear that her mother-in-law felt better. She hoped mother would continue to feel better. Then someone called out, "Mother, how have you been? I came back to visit you." That voice. Isn't that Choi Hyun-jin? Hyun-jin and Hae-wook came together, with Hyun-jin holding the bouquet. They weren't expecting to bump into each other, as Hae-wook thought So-eun would visit later rather than early in the morning. Hyun-jin said that Oppa and her stopped by before going to work. She also brought flowers because the flowers are as pretty as mother. The mother-in-law's behavior changed completely. She beamed happily, spoke enthusiastically. "Oh my, I was content seeing you visiting me. There was no need for the flowers, but thank you so much." Hyun-jin asked if So-eun could put the flower in a vase. So-eun was caught so off guard. She didn't even know how to act. She just went along with things. She questioned, "What happened? I cannot believe he brought Hyun-jin here after telling me he was too busy to see me because of his business trip. He even asked me to take care of his mother for him. It was almost as if he didn't want me here. I shouldn't think too much about it. It's better to ask him directly." Upon coming back from the restroom, So-eun heard Hyun-jin say that Hae-wook and her are going on a business trip to Japan. Hae-wook wanted to visit mother before leaving, so she asked if she could tag along. So-eun glared at Hae-wook as he never mentioned that he was going with Hyun-jin together. But she swallowed all her anger back down and told herself she cannot make a scene like last time. She shouldn't be surprised by it. It's just a business trip. She finds every reason to justify the situation. Hyun-jin then turned to So-eun and asked, "Does that make you jealous, Miss So-eun? Mr. Yang will be mine for 2 days and 1 night." So-eun answered, holding back her displeasure. "Please just take care on the trip." Hyun-jin stood up and backed into So-eun but bumped into So-eun and fell to the ground. The vase fell and shattered. Hae-wook and So-eun rushed to help Hyun-jin as they both were shocked by her fall. Her hand was cut and was bleeding as well. Hae-wook yelled at So-eun. What had she done? So-eun wanted to explain that she didn't do it. But Hyun-jin and Ha-wook were already in their own world, showing their concerns and intimacy. After acting, Hyun-jin pulled away from Hae-wook to wipe off the blood from her hand, stating that she's okay. "It's nothing severe." So-eun noticed the handkerchief. It was the one Hae-wook used to wipe her sweat, and she questioned if someone gave it to him, because it was so beautiful. But he never answered her and tucked the handkerchief away. Hyun-jin held So-eun's hand and asked, "Miss So-eun, I crossed the line with teasing, right? I'm sorry. I'm sure it bothered you. I joked around rashly. Do you feel better now?" As if So-eun purposely pushed her down in retaliation to her teasing about Hae-wook. And now that Hyun-jin is hurt, was So-eun satisfied? Hae-wook got upset, thinking So-eun did it. She didn't do that on purpose. And no one was willing to believe her. "If you feel a grudge, please feel free to tell me." So-eun then was brought back to when Tae-jun said, "People like you. You don't know how much I like them. A person who doesn't have any self-esteem and who does everything other people ask of them." So-eun pulled her hands away and defended herself. "Miss Hyun-jin, I think there is a misunderstanding. We bumped into each other. I didn't push you on purpose. Also, I don't need your help to declare how I am feeling. That's presumptuous of you." Hyun-jin and So-eun bid their goodbye in the parking area. Hyun-jin reminds So-eun that she still needs to go check on Hyun-jin's refrigeration and she will make something delicious for So-eun. So-eun thought earlier she wasn't as direct as she wanted to be and she couldn't bring herself to do it, but at least it's a relief that it went well. Hae-wook then got off the phone with his father. His father will arrive at the hospital later at 3 p.m., so he wanted her to stay until his father arrived. She told him she would stay with his mother until then, but she has a favor to ask. She's a little sad that he didn't tell anyone else about the transplant surgery. She understood why they couldn't say anything to other people, but she would like him to talk to Miss Hyunjin about it, at least. Shocked, Hae-wook started looking sneaky, making sure the word doesn't travel to Hyunjin. What? Hey, what are you saying? She answered, it's just because I think I might be able to get a little closer to Miss Hyunjin if she knows about it. And I think what if you were willing to bring her to the hospital like this? We shouldn't hide the truth either. Hae-wook turned the table around and asked, why are you bringing this up now? Is this your way to ruin my business trip? So-eun defended. What nonsense are you even saying? He questioned with malice. Why are you being so annoying all of a sudden? Until when are you going to keep that attitude? If I had known that you would be acting like this, I would have stopped you before the surgery. Nervous that she would upset Hae-wook, she took a step back. Hae-wook then pulled back his anger and apologized to her. He glanced over to see Hyunjin still busy on her phone and seemed like she didn't hear their conversation. He told So-eun to forget about it. They can talk after he comes back. She was left hanging like that. To get her mind off, she went into work to fix phones. Fixing electronics is such an intriguing activity for her. Before one starts repairs on an electronic machine, one has to make assumptions of which components are causing malfunction, and after one finds the right components and sees the machine working again, one would feel refreshed. Even during the days where she just focused on working, it was the time she experienced the biggest happiness in life. She loved her job so much, and there were many times when she felt proud of herself because she saw someone else appreciating her efforts. However, a broken person is something that she cannot fix by herself. Should she just focus on working and forget about dating? No, she has to think about the fact that she made some progress today. At least, she was able to speak up her mind. Well done, Han So-eun. And like that, her thoughts transformed into reality and she unconsciously gave herself a hug. Until the ding sound of the elevator woke her up. Then she saw CEO Tae-jun walk by. She called out to him. When she turned to question her, she told him she just felt like coming to work. He asked, does she want to earn a special bonus or something like that? She told him, it's not like that. Looking at how she disassembled things apart, it seemed like what she's working on is something not related to the future team. She explained that it's still something from her other duties at the company. Tae-jun came to her desk and leaned on the desk comfortably while telling her that K Electronics doesn't allow their employees to work on a Saturday afternoon. She panicked and wondered why he was leaning like that. She came because she wanted to clear her mind with work, but she couldn't tell him that. So she asked, didn't you come to work too, Mr. CEO? He humphed and asked, do you think we are on the same level? She cried and regretted asking. She forgot this side of him. Then he noticed her work. That's a flip phone. Why are you even repairing that? What a waste of time. So-eun justified. I think people should be able to keep their precious belongings and not throw them away. He ridiculed. How can something like that be precious? How dumb. She frowned and explained. This is from a customer that comes every year. She's an 80-year-old lady who has owned this phone for a long time. She doesn't know how long she has until she dies. And she says she doesn't have the money to afford a new one either. On top of that, it would be difficult for her to operate a smartphone at her age. That's why I worry about her, and the reason I want to fix this for her. Yet at the same time, she questioned herself why she even bothered explaining to him. Tae-jun stated, it doesn't look like you can fix it. But even so, please do not overexert your body. If you work all weekend without resting and have problems working during the week, that really would be a really stupid thing to do. Anyways, try your best to repair it and leave soon. Don't hold for too long on things that you cannot fix. So-eun's body trembled. He said the words that no one ever said to her. She lived in survival mode all her life and was pushed to the brink of death. So why did he have to do that? Why now? Why did he say that at this exact moment? She looked down as tears clouded her eyes. Forcing hard not to let her tears flow down, she forced herself to be in control. You have to control yourself, Han So-eun. You cannot cry in front of him right now. If I do that, he's going to start asking about things I don't want to talk about with him. What should I do? Please don't say anything sweet to me again. I beg you. She ignored his repeated calls until he knelt down and turned her chair around to face him. Are you okay? You seem to be having a rough time. You can tell me what happened. I will listen. Tell me what happened. I'll hear you out. Did you have a fight with your boyfriend again? It seems that it's. She remained silent as an acquiesced to his guess. It seems so. He asked, would you like to swear at him with me? She was shocked to hear such thing. But Tae-jun was smiling happily, as he doesn't like her boyfriend. He already went FBI detective on her boyfriend. Soon started laughing. He asked why is she laughing. She answered that she didn't expect him to invite her to swear like that. And that made her smile. That's right. She should just do as the CEO said. Just swear away her frustration over this situation. There's no need to think too much about it. She has to find the right approach to solve this problem. If she thinks like that, it doesn't seem too different from a machine, right? So with her own strength, she'll just have to solve this situation in the best way that she could. So-eun thanked CEO Tae-jun. It seemed she was taking the wrong approach. Then he asked her, are you really doing this again? Why do you always take all the blame when facing problems? I thought you weren't going to resolve things with him until he decided to treat you with proper respect. He was so upset at her ways to solve things. Take the blame, find excuses to justify things. And he didn't realize that he was holding onto her hand tight, not loosening. Until she said, Mr. CEO, please let go of my hand. It hurts. They both let go and got up. So-eun told him she better leave now, grabbed her bag and left. In Tokyo, Hae-wook and Hyun-jin were meeting with some investors. Hyun-jin was talking to the people while Hae-wook stood next to her, looking like he hadn't got a clue. Silently, he was glad that she was not just good at English but also at Japanese. Just as expected, Hyun-jin was amazing. She's capable, pretty and smart. The type of woman that he like. On the other hand, Han So-eun. Just the thought of her annoyed him.
Ugh.
I can't believe she got so sensitive about a short business trip. What if we ended up breaking? There are a few things I still haven't resolved if that happens. What am I going to do if she asks for money? If she threatens me with showing the law firm the proof of surgery? I don't know what I would do. What to do? Should I save things with her separately? Or, as they checked in and he was about to take off his tie, Hyun-jin grabbed him and told him to stop thinking about Han So-eun. She pulled his face so close to her face and questioned, how could you do that right in front of me? Then she kissed him hard, passionately, even stuck her tongue in his mouth. He started losing himself and wanted to give in to the moment. He then slid his hand under her shirt behind her back. Then she slapped his hand away and stated, no, we cannot do that yet. Confused, Hae-wook asked why. Hyun-jin said he should know it. She wants to be sure that he is serious about her, so break up with Han So-eun. Then they can do everything he wants to. He shivered, feeling scared, then suddenly realized. What? Hyun-jin grabbed him playfully and asked, Oppa, did you get scared? Did you get speechless? What? No, he denied. She's more of a sly fox than I thought. Hyun-jin said she doesn't want to see him meeting Han So-eun again. Does he have any questions? She thought she was pretty clear. Still shocked, he said he doesn't have a question. But, to be honest, his mother received a liver transplant donation from Han So-eun. That's what he should say, but instead, he said, his mother also likes Hyun-jin a lot more than So-eun. Hyun-jin hugged Hae-wook and asked if that was true. She is so happy to hear that. Oppa, they're going to be a couple lawyers. They should give this good news to his mother when they get back. His mother might be energized after hearing that. A couple of lawyers. His mother would love how that sounds. And he readily agrees with her. You are right. The next morning, So-eun went to the hospital again. She didn't receive any calls from Hae-wook Oppa. She wondered if he was too busy. Thinking back to yesterday, how they left off their conversation before his departure. She wasn't able to say anything back because she felt embarrassed. She wasn't trying to be annoying. It was just something that came to her mind and she wanted to express. For now, she'll just focus on taking care of his mother as she promised. That way, she thinks they can have a serious talk when he comes back since she was trying to resolve things. Upon arriving to the ward, the sister, Hae-jin, was there with her son. Hae-jin reported that mother was sleeping right now, and she was sorry for what happened last time. Hae-jin's apology shocked So-eun. She said it was okay. Then Hae-jin pulled her son over to introduce to So-eun. He bowed and greeted So-eun. She also greeted him back and said she heard a lot about him. He looked excited. But then, Hae-jin's phone rang. She had to step out to receive the call. She asked if So-eun could watch her son for a moment. So-eun gladly accepted to supervise the son. She pulled the chair next to him and sat down. He was busy on his phone. This was the first time she met him in person. He doesn't look much like his mother, so maybe he resembles his father more. She should try to talk to him. He must be bored since there was not much to do at the hospital. She asked, Hyung-woo, do you think you look more like your mommy or your daddy? Hyung-woo is at the age where he wants to show off everything he can. He answered excitedly, I have the same face as my dad, but my hands and feet are the same as mommy's. That was more than she asked for, but okay. Then he continued, and also, we all even share blood types. My dad, mommy and I have exactly the same O blood type. So-eun was so shocked. Huh? Did you just say, O blood type? Because supposedly, she was the only one eligible for the transplant since Hae-wook said no one in the family had that blood type. Thinking back to when Hae-wook cried and gave her the information about the blood type, she shook and asked tremblingly, Hyung-woo, you said your mother has blood type O? Hyung-woo answered happily, wanting to share his knowledge. Yes, mommy, daddy, and I share the same blood type. But not only that. All my family from my mother's side also share the same blood. Hae-jin screamed, Lee Hyung-woo, what are you saying? Mommy has blood type B. Not knowing any better and confused, Hyung-woo questioned, but? You said it before. Everyone on your side of the family has the same blood O type. Oh shit. The beans have been spilled. Hae-jin was panicking. So-eun questioned, sister-in-law, you told me you had a blood B type, and that Hae-wook and your father also share that blood type. Then the mother woke up and started coughing, interrupting So-eun's interrogation. Hae-jin quickly attended to her mother and told So-eun they can talk later. It seems that mother is not in good condition right now. So-eun questioned again. You also knew about it, didn't you, mother-in-law? Then, So-eun grabbed her bag and turned around getting ready to leave. Hae-jin tried to talk after So-eun. No, wait, So-eun. She's genuinely feeling sick. You know how weak her body. So-eun cut her off. That she doesn't need to explain anything. She will hear everything straight from Hae-wook. On the road and in the car. Looking at the email on the phone. Looking at the email, he saw photos of Hae-wook and Hyunjin's adventures. Them being intimate and kissing in public. Everything went just as expected. Everything will be over if he sends these files to So-eun. She would finally find out that her boyfriend has been interested in Choi Hyunjin while still in a relationship with her. And he can just send her the files with a fake name saying something like, I coincidentally took this photo. It's not the way he would like to do this, but it's better if he doesn't get too involved. The question now is when should he send the information to her? Thinking back to when she told him that her boyfriend really takes good care of her. They are like a family. He thinks she will probably freak out when she finds out. What is she going to do? Then his thought was interrupted by the driver, that they have arrived at the airport. He instructed the driver to go back, but leave the car behind, to which the driver politely complied. He should focus on finishing this job first. The plane where young Hae-wook and Choi Hyunjin had boarded should arrive soon. He arranged a meeting where he had to take them as soon as they arrived, so that they could meet as soon as possible. He needs to make it look very urgent so they go right away. This happens to him because he makes it seem that recruiting foreign talents is an important task. Anyways, this should be just a quick formality. If everything went as he planned, the recruitment must have failed. He stood against the pillar while waiting, but then he spotted someone in the distance. Shocked. He wondered what Han So-eun was doing there. So-eun came to receive Hae-wook Oppa. She thought back to the conversation she overheard his mother saying he was surrounded by beautiful women who were smarter and more beautiful, with great and stable family background. Hae-wook said if he dated someone like that, they would not have given their liver to his mother. The thing that she didn't want to believe before is actually true. What should she say when she sees him? Should she tell him to break up? Is that the best answer for this? Should she sue him for all the damage? Is she even capable of doing it? Could she sue a lawyer and win against him? She wasn't even able to see that a whole family was lying to her face. What should she do now? She felt terrified. But then she remembers telling CEO Tae-jun that she has to take better care of herself. That way, she can meet people that treat her with respect. So-eun muttered, "With respect." Then she saw Hae-wook and Hyunjin coming through the door. The couple were chatting happily, oblivious of things around. Hyunjin asked when Oppa will talk to So-eun. She's impatient, so he should do it right away. Hae-wook smiled and said he understood. Tomorrow, he will talk with her. Hyunjin made him promise her to do that and then give him a kiss. So-eun witnessed the whole thing. Their conversation, their intimacy, their public display of affection. Tae-jun tucked his phone back in his pocket. This is easier than he thought. He didn't have to go through all that trouble to get those pictures. Those two seemed to be careful before leaving for the business trip. But now that they came back, they are so obvious. Tae-jun saw that So-eun's action changed. She looked into her purse and seemed to be digging for something. He wondered what she was doing, seeing the calm before the storm look on her face. As she chased after the couples, Tae-jun freaked out. Don't tell me. She's going to. No matter how much of a cheater he is, you shouldn't go to that extent. So-eun. He lunged over, grabbed her hand and yelled, "Manager Han." So-eun turned around, shocked to see him. What? What are you doing here, Mr. CEO? Wait a moment. Her face shriveled gloomily. This is the stare of a murder. Sweat dripped down his face. She screamed, "Let me go. Why are you doing this all of the sudden?" Tae-jun hushed her to be quiet. She yelled, "Let me go now." As she tried shaking her hand off, Tae-jun consoled, "Miss Han, please calm down. Or at least give the thing you are holding in your hand." She shook her hand angrily and questioned, "Why should I? What's your problem?" He freaked out even more and stated, That's dangerous. If the security guards come and see that you have a knife." Then he noticed what she had in her hand was a crumpled up piece of tissue. He paused and looked dumbly. What the hell? A tissue? A moment later, they were sitting outside of the airport. Tae-jun asked why she was running with a tissue. She cried and answered because it was hers. He explained what he meant was, why would she hold it like that? She stated through tears and snots that she was going to wipe it off when she cried. She's going to wipe it right away. You cannot cry in front of two people. He finally gets it, and thought he must have been dumb to think that Han So-eun was that type of person. She is definitely not the kind of person to go after anyone with a knife. Why would he think of that? Then she asked why the CEO was there. She glared at him with an expression saying, "Don't tell me you're following me?" He scratched his head as he searched for an answer and said, I've been to Taiwan. To eat beef noodles. She interrogated as she found it hard to believe. Beef noodles? He's looking nervous, but tried to play it off. I'm always like that. When I'm bored, I go to Naples to eat pizza. Ha ha ha. But inside he cried and scolded himself. He's damn. Now they're in the car. Tae-jun was giving her a ride. He apologized. If he hadn't intervened, everything would have been resolved by now. It's his mistake. So-eun was still feeling depressed, but told him that it's all right. Then there was that awkward silence in the car until she questioned, "You don't have any luggage. You've been to Taiwan, right?" He lied that he came out lightly because he went to eat something, but she could tell that he was lying all along. But well, whatever. She doesn't want to pry more. Somehow it was so fast. The beginning of a relationship, a proposal, a family greeting, wedding planning. Come to think of it, everything was weirdly sudden. The favors and kindnesses she thought were free were not. She was afraid it would be taken away from her, so she put up with it, and told herself over and over again that she wasn't being taken advantage of. She was a fool. Tae-jun finally spoke. "I don't know what to do, because this is the first time I've done this. If you think it's nonsense, stay with me." She looked at him and declined. "Oh, it's okay. I think I'm a little tired." He asked regarding about the man, her cheated boyfriend. She answered, "I'm going to clean it up now. Don't worry about it." He said he cannot help but pay attention. He just wants to be her source of support. But she told him no, since he doesn't know anything. Her past, her regrets, and what she had given away. He will never know. She doesn't want to use someone who knows nothing. She asked if he had any hard times. And who helped him then? He answered, he doesn't know. He doesn't have time to think about the old days. She asked if he ever liked idols then. He asked why would he? She thought back to her school days when she was wandering because she didn't want to be anything. They, the ones who once comforted and touched others' hearts by saying, "You are a precious person," have become idols to those who were comforted and touched. She couldn't understand friends who, even after their idol caused an accident and engaged in all sorts of mischief, couldn't cut off their feelings in one go, until she had such an idol too. One day, the idol asked if he may have her contact number. He said she always sits there, right? She kept attracting him, and she is totally his style. She was instantly love-struck. Yang Hae-wook, he was the first person to enter her humble life. He was the one who told her that she was beautiful and adorable, even though she had never been loved. Because of him, she has come to love the world where he is. She loved him with all her heart and soul. She was glad she could. That's what she meant. Tae-jun dropped her off at home. She thanked him for taking her back, looking out the window to watch his car drive away. She thought, one understands as much as one experiences. So you won't understand. The next day, Secretary Song went into Tae-jun's office and reported that the head of the TF team called in sick today. He asked Secretary Song to check if there will be no problem with the TF work schedule. Secretary Song reasoned that So-eun is on sick leave, so she doesn't know if So-eun will answer or not. Then Tae-jun requested, please also check if she's alive and well. This request shocked Secretary Song, but she told him she would. Thinking back to what she said that he doesn't know anything. And does he have any hard times? Who was there to support him during that time? Hard times. Of course there was. 20 years ago, when his parents died, and when he was left alone in the world. That was when he met her. She doesn't know anything. She could say that because she doesn't know. At the law firm, the director came up to Hae-wook and consoled that it's a shame what happened in Japan. Startled, Hae-wook asked what the director was talking about. The director said the business trip didn't go well. The foreign talent called to say that he didn't want to move on with the recruitment. Mr. Kim Tae-jun seemed very disappointed by that. He wants them to pretend like their contract with him never happened. What? How can he say that all of the sudden? Hae-wook asked the director. The director explained, sometimes there are going to be clients like that. Just focus on doing a good job. You did what you could, Mr. Yang. Hae-wook was upset and depressed. How can this be happening? He seemed so sure about this when we signed the contract. How could he change his mind all of the sudden? Then Hyun-jin came up to him as he waited by the elevator. He cried and told Hyun-jin that they were fired. Hyun-jin was as surprised. She asked if the company fired them for having an affair. He hushed Hyun-jin. He's not even married. What is she talking about? He's only referring to their job with Kim Tae-jun. It seems he was disappointed because their trip to Japan didn't go well. Is this how people with money are? I cannot believe he played with lawyers like that. Hyun-jin consoled him. It's okay, Oppa. I'm glad that at least I get to spend some quality time with you. And Hae-wook was totally smitten by her cuteness. His brain steamed and thought, how can Hyun-jin be so lovable? Then his phone rings, interrupting his mood. It was a call from his sister, Hae-jin. He frowned and complained that she always called him at the worst times. He stepped away to pick up the call. Hae-jin asked if he received a call from Han So-eun. Come to think of it, he hasn't received any calls from her. The last time they talked was before he left for his business trip. He told his sister that he hasn't. Hae-jin panicked. Oh no, what should we do? Hae-wook, what should we do? Hae-wook asked his sister what she was talking about. Hae-jin explained that Hyungwoo told So-eun they all have the same blood type O. She tried convincing So-eun that Hyungwoo was lying. But still, what should they do now? Hae-wook trembled in anger and yelled, Yang Hae-jin, you! I told you to be careful around Han So-eun. Hae-jin asked, hey, why are you scolding me? Frustrated, Hae-wook cursed, you fucking duke and useless human being. How can you and your son be this dumb? It was a warm sunny afternoon. The sun ray was shining through the window glass. So-eun laid on the bed, on her back, looking up at the ceiling. She seemed to be just relaxing, thinking to herself, I should take sick leaves more often. I don't know why I did not before. It's not like the company gives awards for a perfect attendance or something like that. Then she turned to her side, looking towards the window. The bright, golden sunray makes the dust in the air shine like gold. And that brought back a childhood memory. Reaching out her hand to catch those golden particles, mesmerized by them, while the child standing behind her explained that those are particles that look like gold. Back then, she mistook them for real gold particles. She mistook his love, but it was more than pain. Now it's time to get rid of everything. As she stood up and walked past the mirror, a fragment of her spoke through the mirror. So-eun, don't you think you could regret this? She turned to look at herself in the mirror. The her in the mirror reasoned, think about how important Hae-wook Oppa has been for you. Don't you think he's going to feel sorry? Maybe if we wait a little longer, we will be happy after marrying, right? That was the vision she used to have. She ignored the self-doubt So-eun in the mirror and diverted her gaze forward. So-eun in the mirror questioned, can you really go back to living all by yourself? Shouldn't you at least fight for monetary compensation? Are you really okay with leaving it like this? So-eun tied up her hair, put on her shoes. It's okay. I'm just a normal person. I've made my decision. I don't want to put a price on my resolve. She went out the door to walk around her neighborhood. She usually works early in the morning. It feels weird being able to take a walk at this hour. Then her phone rang. She picked up, and it was Secretary Song calling to check in on her. She asked if there is a problem. Secretary Song said it's just that. The CEO asked her to contact So-eun. So-eun asked if something happened. She took the day off. Secretary Song said, yes, but that's not the problem. The CEO just wants to know if there's going to be any issues with the TF schedules because of that. So-eun couldn't even smile. This feels like work again. Don't worry about it. I already prepared everything in advance. Secretary Song said she will tell the CEO that. But how is So-eun feeling? So-eun answered that she is feeling fine and will go back to work tomorrow. Secretary Song asked, are you eating well? Eating a good meal can help you to feel better. So-eun's eyes widened. I'll make sure to eat properly. Secretary Song questioned, from what I can hear, it seems you haven't eaten yet, right? I'll send you a gift card so you can order some good porridge from a nearby restaurant. So-eun's hand tightened on her chest. No, that's not necessary. But then she received a gift card via text from Secretary Song anyways, with a speedy recovery message. She stared at the message for a moment until an incoming call came in. Her face frowned as her grip tightened. She clicked on the pickup button. Once the call connected, she asked if they could talk. Hae-wook readily agreed to meet as he also had something he wanted to talk to her about. So-eun was disappointed. Again, he's acting as if nothing happened. She replied, oh, so you heard about it? Hae-wook answered, I heard you were asking why I did not tell you about my sisters having the same blood type as my mother. I did not because my sister could not donate to our mother. She has a liver just as bad as my mom, and the blood type of my father and mine don't match. If you don't believe me, I can show you our medical certificates. So-eun answered, okay, show me. This caught Hae-wook off guard. He asked, huh? She said, since you offered to show them, I would like to see them myself. Hae-wook reasoned, we shouldn't fight over something like this. Let's not do this. It's not like my mother can return your liver to you anyways. I know you love me, and if you do, you should be prepared to face this kind of hardship for the sake of our. So-eun cut him off. Oppa, I want to meet you in person so we can talk. The next day, So-eun went into work. She greeted Bo-bae as she got to her desk. Bo-bae was surprised to see that she took a day off. She asked, Manager, are you feeling better? So-eun answered happily, yes, I'm better now. You were pretty busy because of me yesterday, right? Here, this is for your hard work. And handed Bo-bae a coffee. Shocked, Bo-bae told her she didn't have to, since she is always working so hard. She feels bad for receiving the coffee. So-eun told her not to worry about it. Bo-bae deserves it. She also bought one for Mr. Jang. Then she went up to Mr. Jang and handed him the coffee, thanking him for covering her work yesterday. Jang Pyo froze, staring at So-eun, didn't know how to react. Then, So-eun asked, perhaps, you don't like vanilla? Then he moved fast, 2 times the speed to accept the coffee. It's not like that. I do like it. Please give it to me. Upon taking the coffee, he asked with a smile, if she is feeling better? So-eun answered, yes. I'm feeling great today. She was taken aback because he was smiling. She was not used to the situation. Jang Pyo was glad to hear that. But as he stuttered to finish his sentences, Bo-bae told So-eun that she had a call. Should Bo-bae answer for So-eun, to which So-eun stated no. She can take the call herself? When she saw who was calling, she frowned. It's from Kim Tae-jun.
Ugh.
In the office, So-eun greeted the CEO and asked if he called for her. Tae-jun, with his arms crossed, replied loftily, of course I did. I told you not to overwork yourself during the weekend so things like this wouldn't happen. So-eun frowned, rolling her eyes at him. This guy. He should know that it wasn't because of that. Then Tae-jun asked, are you feeling better now? Did you organize everything already? So-eun answered, I think it's going to take me about 2 weeks. I'll make sure there are no more disruptions. He clarified, no, I'm talking about what happened on Sunday. Her hands tightened and answered, I already dealt with it. He commented, I thought it would take you longer, and I know that was the reason you took the day off. Are you going to meet with him today? Vein popped on her face. She tried hard to contain her fuming anger. Yes, I don't think I'll be able to stay late today. He asked, today? Where are you meeting? Seoul? Are you going by yourself? She answered, yes. And she will be taking a taxi there. She already felt tired after containing her anger. She shouldn't have come to work. Tae-jun ordered, come to the parking lot after you finish working. I'll also be going to Seoul, so I'll give you a ride. So-eun froze stupidly, her mind going off the deep end. Imagining a hot breaking news title. Is this K Electronic Service Welfare Rail? The article stated, the company is implementing new car riding services for their employees. I saw a woman using it to break up with her cheating boyfriend, and even the CEO of the company was driving. Ha ha ha. So-eun asked nervously, Mr. CEO, I'm sorry, but I have a question. Why are you so interested in my private life? He looked shocked briefly, but quickly composed and asked, did you watch a drama this morning or something? Hey look, I equally worry about every employee in this company. So go on and finish your work. I'll see you later. She frowned in fury and yelled, I'll be leaving then. He chuckled and told her not to work too hard. She has to save energy for the big event later. Ha ha. After she left, he leaned back on his chair and let out a breath, thinking of her asking why he was so interested in her private life. Images of their childhood came through. Their conversation. I don't like you. You are frustrating, whiny, and I hate you. But even so, since a very long time ago. Small So-eun trying to catch the gold particles. Although they are actually called gold dust. Small So-eun replied, I know that now, but they still look so beautiful even though they're nothing special. Looking at the gold dust in his office, he muttered, I like this weather. Side note, it may be a metaphor about So-eun. The end of the work shift. Tae-jun gave So-eun a lift. So-eun sat on the passenger side, catching glimpses of Tae-jun while having conversation in her head. If I saw the situation as a drama like he said, then I must be the female lead of a tragic woman's story. HHM. That wouldn't be so bad, right? Even if the protagonist goes through a ton of hardships, she will always end up with a happy ending, right? Perhaps he just wants to see the drama until the end. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand why he would always give me a ride like this. She looked at him with a sparkly smirk expression. He asked, we're here. Where should I drop you off? She replied, at the hotel lounge. As she got out of the car, he advised, I know you're a grown woman, but if he tries to change up the conversation and take you to a hotel, leave immediately. She cringed, thinking, he's worrying way too much. He asked, do you want me to go with you? She refused. No, I'll see you tomorrow. As she walked to the meeting place, she hyped herself. It's time for me to part ways with him. Han So-eun, a woman that only knew how to fix machines, finally is about to fix herself. She arrived looking and feeling completely different than the past her. She was glittering, smiling, made up. Oppa, you came early. He turned to look at her with a nervous expression. She observed him closely and wondered. Huh? Oppa? Did he always look like this? Squiggly like squid. She asked, "What's in his hand?" He explained and reached for the phone box. "Oh, I thought it was about time you changed your cell phone, so I bought you a new one." "Oh, thank you. I'll make sure to use it well. Where would you like us to go to have a talk?" Seeing her walk away from him. "Huh, I thought you could use it right away." "Soon. Wait, please give me your phone. I'll transfer the data for you. I know you aren't good at things like that." Soon replied, "Oppa, of course I can do it myself. I'm a cell phone engineer," and sat across from him. Haywook took the documents from his bag. "Ah, by the way, I brought the documents for you to take a look at. I know you wouldn't believe me if you didn't see them for yourself." Soon asked if unbothered by the documents. "To be honest, there's something else I wanted to talk about in the first place. The blood type issue doesn't matter. I would have given a part of my liver to my mother-in-law anyway." Haywook, still nervous, tried to cater. "Thank you. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. You've been having a hard time lately, haven't you? Let's go up and eat something delicious. I already booked a room." Soon laughed. "Pfft." He asked what's wrong. She explained. "Oh, I'm sorry. This is exactly what that guy said." Startled, Haywook asked, "What? Who? What did I say?" "Oppa, forget about me. I hope you can do better with Hyunjin. Side note, I'm too vengeful. I would never let the guy go, but she's so kind that she frustrates me." Haywook tried to reason that she was the only one for him. She should have known that. Soon didn't want to drag things longer. She went straight. "I heard it all at the airport. You said you'll break up with me in 1 week. So before we get there, I think it's better to break up now. I won't keep the phone you gave me either. Here, I'll return it to you. Take it." She tossed the phone to him, got up and left. He tried to stop her and questioned nervously, "You, breaking up with me on a whim? You aren't telling Hyunjin, right?" She looked at him, unable to believe that he's worrying about that in this situation. She assured him, she won't. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Is she making herself clear to him? Haywook finally felt relieved that she will keep quiet about the liver donation and not demand anything. He readily agreed to breaking up with her as she wished. She looked up to gaze at the chandelier. "It's over. It's finally over." Haywook commented, "So-un, I'm sorry, but thank you for everything. I don't think I'll be able to find a woman like you even in my next life." She turned her head around and said, "That's right. I hope I'll never find someone like you even in my next life, too. I always did my best for you. I did it because I was in love, but you just exhausted me and took me as a fool. I forced myself to believe the contrary for so long that I really thought you might be the one. Then, I'll be leaving now. Don't call me anymore and delete my number. Goodbye." And like that, she left the toxic boyfriend. The liver works as a detox facility for the body. She gave a part of her liver to his mother, hoping that his mother will live longer and healthier, and she hopes it can help detox his family too. She hopes he'll learn to become someone who doesn't have to hurt the world around him. When she was finally isolated from everyone, she exhaled a big breath, feeling so relieved. Then she heard an attendant said, "You need to park in a designated spot." And another one replied, "Wait, I'm here for an urgent matter." Her eyes widened, turned to the side and saw that it was Mr. CEO. She came up to him and asked why didn't he leave? She thought he had something to do. Tae-jun put on his 3D glasses with popcorn in hand, spoke, "I wanted to hear the tea." She sighed and asked, "What tea are you talking about?" While thinking, wow, so, he's this type of guy? I don't even have the energy to laugh. It's kind of embarrassing. Her ankle suddenly gave out. She lost her balance and tripped forward towards Tae-jun. She fell onto his embrace. He held her gently, her blushed face on his chest. "Oh, she couldn't find any words to say." He gazed at her, put one hand on her back and asked, "Everything went well?" Still in his embrace. She answered yes. He asked, "How are you feeling?" She replied, "I think I'll be okay." He praised her. "You did well." They remained in that hugging position. "She smells a nice scent from the CEO. What kind of scent is this?" "No, it might just be the scent of his shampoo on his skin." "Wait, What am I doing right now? Then she pushed him away. With blushing face, she spoke. Mr. CEO, thank you for everything. I'll be taking my leave now. While convincing herself that hug was just an accident. It's normal for colleagues to hug after finishing a project, that's it. He asked, are you going? She told him she's not. She's going to meet a friend. He said he can give her a ride. She declined as she planned to take the bus instead. Tae-jun acted all hurt and pitiful like a cunning fox. But I was waiting here just to give you a ride. His action shut her up. There was no way she could refuse that expression. She's kind and a softie. In the car, she asked if she could leave early tomorrow. He said as she wished. But does she have something to do? She replied that she is going on a blind date. His eyes widened. Isn't it too soon for that? She explained that she was catching up with a friend of hers about breaking up with her boyfriend. And her friend said the best thing is to go on blind dates right away. But don't worry, she will go on her blind date tomorrow and will work extra hard the day after. Tae-jun is clenching his anger inside. What's with the rush? She said because the guy said he only had time tomorrow. He lectured, you just had a breakup and now you are going on a blind date. She argued back. I think you can forget about a broken relationship with a new one. He fought back. Do you think love is that easy? Not backing down, she argued back. Do you just want me to be stuck in the past and stay depressed forever? They glared at each other, sending lightning sparks to each other. She reasoned. I believe everything in life is about timing, so if I see a chance, I'll take it right away. He refuted. You just took a day off not too long ago, and now you're asking to leave early. Forget it, you'll work as usual tomorrow. Like a rebellious teenager who will do the thing they were told not to do, she uttered. I'll meet him during lunch, then. Like a parent frustrated by their teen child, he yelled, why are you so eager to go on a blind dates during work hours? You can go on a blind date, but not tomorrow. If he says he only has time tomorrow, then you shouldn't go on that blind date. While thinking, you should have figured that out yourself, you fool. Since they are almost there, he told her he will see her tomorrow at work. She showed him the text message with a smirk. The guy said he's okay with meeting this weekend too. Han So-eun, you sly frog. He scolded. No, that guy seems weird. He changed his mind too quickly as soon as you said that. She answered. What's weird about him? He said he had his reasons. He questioned. Are you trying to fit into other people's lifestyles again? That's how you end up doing everything for them. If you keep that up, the next thing you'll do is give them a part of your liver or something. Pfft. She started laughing hysterically. That tears came out the corner of her eye. Manager Han? What is she laughing about? He reached out to pat her shoulder. It's okay, calm down. Manager Han? Han So-eun. Ha ha ha. My stomach hurts. Thank you. I had a good laugh thanks to you. It felt like I got hit by reality. I've come back to my senses now. I'll live better from now on. Thank you for everything. I cannot believe I shared this part of my life with you, Mr. CEO. Oh, and thank you for the ride too. After she shut the door and left, he was confused of what just happened. Holding tight onto the steering wheel, he muttered, while his face blushed red. What? What was that? She all of a sudden. Hae-wook is like a nervous train wreck, looking at his phone, checking on So-eun's social media status for any updates. Was he thinking too much? He remembered when she left and told him to not call her and delete her phone number. He was thinking to himself, what a relief. Hyunjin was pressuring him to quickly break up with her, so he guessed this solves things for him. Then he remembers. He hasn't erased the data from So-eun's cell phone. I need to do something about it. She couldn't have gone too far, right? He chased out after her. Then he saw So-eun and Tae-jun hugging each other. What is that bastard doing there? He didn't want to say anything back then because he didn't want to argue with a client who is important to the firm, but he definitely saw it. They were hugging. He don't understand why someone like Kim Tae-jun would be interested in a normal person like her. He then brushed it off as Kim Tae-jun probably had a business reunion or something at the hotel, and then he stumbled upon So-eun, who was so shocked and distressed by their breakup that he had to hug her. That must be it. Hae-wook went to Hyunjin's office and asked if she was there alone. She asked why he was there. He spoke happily. Hyunjin, I finally did it. I broke up with her, and got a reservation at a nice hotel? I know you've been waiting. Hyun-jin scolded. What are you talking about, Oppa? It hasn't been that long since you broke up with So-eun, but you already want to go to a hotel on weekdays? Can't you see I'm busy with work? Is that why you went out to meet her so quickly? Just so you could sleep with me? Hae-wook seemed like a guilty dog, trying to reason, but you were the one who said it that if I broke up with So-eun. Hyun-jin slammed the files on the table, startling Hae-wook, and clarified. Oppa, I don't like when things aren't clear. Let's get married first. You were thinking of proposing to me, weren't you? I think it's better for us to do things properly. Oppa. At K Electronic Services, So-eun was working alone again during lunch hour. Bo-bae came and asked what is she still doing there, working? Did she skip meals again? She stated that she ate early. Now, she's just thinking of buying new clothes. Showing her computer screen. She was actually online shopping. Bo-bae felt relief. She thought So-eun skipped lunch again to keep working. But, why is So-eun buying new clothes? So-eun replied that she's going on a blind date. Shocked, Bo-bae asked what happened to her boyfriend. So-eun replied that they broke up. Bo-bae stated, and you're going on a blind date already? So-eun asked, is there a problem? I thought it was a good idea. Bo-bae backtracked and said, it's okay. If she thinks that's best for her, it's fine. Bo-bae thought, even though So-eun looks nice, it seems she actually has a pretty strong mentality. If it was her, she would take months to get over. Inside the CEO's office, Tae-jun asked So-eun if she's busy this weekend. She told him she is, for she has a blind date. Tae-jun told him he is sorry, but he doesn't think she can go. He will need her to go into work during the weekend. He needed her to finish all her remaining work by Monday. They are in a rush. She frowned and glared at him. Is he really sorry about this? Is it okay for a superior to interfere in one of his employees' personal affairs like this? No matter how much he likes drama, this is too much. I didn't want to think about this possibility, but perhaps. Does the CEO have feelings for her? It cannot be. It's not like they are kids. A normal man wouldn't bother someone he likes this much, right? That's not something that happens between adults nowadays, so it doesn't make sense. It's probably just her imagination. But even so, maybe she should try to confirm it. Mr. CEO, do you hate me? If the CEO wasn't my boss, if he wasn't someone that felt so distant to me, if I'm being honest, I think a positive response would make me feel good. However, that would be it. The line between us is far too wide, and we are so different from each other, but I keep wondering what your vision of me is, so please answer me. I just see you as the employee manager Han So-eun, someone that works very hard at her job. I think it's the complete opposite of hating you. I see you as a sincere person, Manager Han So-eun. I hope you don't make me change that concept of you. Don't forget the due date is next Monday. I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Although it was an ordinary answer. And that's how it's supposed to be. She was mistaken again. Someone like him would never look at her. She squeezed her cheeks and encouraged herself to cheer up. Get it together, Han So-eun. She sat down on work desk and looked at the Mountain High documents, ready to conquer the work before the end of the weekend. That way, she'll be able to go on her blind date. I cannot fall apart right now. Young Hae-wook, she'll show him. She'll show Kim Tae-jun too. Take a seat and look at what she's going to do. A strong wall only gets tougher after it dries out, so she'll get herself together after drying her tears off of face too. Waiting inside the elevator, Secretary Song glances at Tae-jun, then looks away, and then looks at him again as if she was debating on something. Then she finally decided to go ahead. I have a question. These days, you seem to care a lot about her, Manager Han So-eun. In the garden field area, some 20 years ago, a gardener tending to the garden, trimming the tree branches, until he called out, "Hello, young master. The weather is pretty nice today, don't you think? We are nearing the end of summer, so it feels more fresh outside." The young master replied, "Hello, yes, that's why I came outside to read a book." The gardener answered, "I see, then I'll move so you can relax here." The young master said, "Oh, I didn't know I was disturbing your work, but thank you. Don't worry about it." The gardener smiles back thinking he's such a well-mannered kid, even after going through such a horrible experience. Tae-jun walked to the bench, sat down and opened his book. He sighed. At least thanks to this, no one will come to the garden for a while, right? And my grandfather and aunt won't come until later, so I'm free now. It should almost be time for Han So-eun to come. What time does she come from daycare again? 5 o'clock? What does she do with the other kids there all day? I go to school, take private lessons, and go to the academy, but why does she seem busier than me? I don't understand it. He laid down, propped his legs and crossed it, yawned and ready to take a nap. After some time passed, he heard a rustling noise. He quickly sat up and apologized. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I fell asleep. Then he turned around to a cute voice. Whoa. You wake up with a kiss too? My dad does the same. For a split second he froze. Once his brain registered, his face blushed. Kiss. If you put your hands on my face ever again, I'll hang you on that tree. Confused, she answered, but I didn't use my hands, I used my lips. He yelled, that doesn't matter. Young Tae-jun started to walk away, and young So-eun followed. Oppa, where are you going? Come play with me. Tae-jun refused. I don't want to. I'm busy. Persistent So-eun reasoned, hey, I just saw you sleeping. She reached out to him, pursing her lips. Come here. I'm the kiss monster now. Shy Tae-jun questioned, why won't you leave me alone? You pervert. Their interaction was witnessed by someone standing around the corner. Then one day, he questioned his aunt if Han So-eun left. The aunt answered that's what they were told all of a sudden. They don't even know why. They leave without even saying goodbye or where they're going. Tae-jun was shocked. How could this happen? I gave her so many delicious things. I played so much with her. Yet, at the end she still left. His hand clenched into a fist. Noticing that, his aunt asked if he's disappointed. He must have really been getting along with that girl. Tae-jun replied, no, I hate her. Back to current scene, the elevator arrived at the 3rd floor. Tae-jun answered secretary song, no, I hate her. I mean, she's the type of person I hate. On the second night, Friday, So-eun continued to work hard. Her eyes started to form dark circles. Just a little bit more. If I keep up just a little more, I'll finish. Remembering the CEO told her to finish all the work before next Monday, but it's impossible. The last 2 days, she had nightmares at night regarding work, and during the day, she worked continuously. She has to finish before the weekend. She has to go on her blind date and protect the precious weekend free time that is for every worker. So she refused to go back home. She'll just pass out. She also has to sleep as much as she can so she could wake up refreshed for her blind date. And then, she finally did it. She's done. She just has to show it to the CEO now. Manager Han? So-eun was startled. Ah, it's the devil. Tae-jun walked casually in. You seem to be working hard. She did not deny. Yes, I actually finished. I was going to report it to you. Gesturing for him to take a look. After looking at it, he was shocked, speechless. The electronic files and even the report book files were all reconciled and organized. She actually done it? Suspicious, he asked, who helped you? She answered that she did it all on her own. Even if he tried to do something like this himself, it would take him at least 2 full days with no sleep. And there's not a single error. He asked her how she did it. She answered proudly, there's nothing anyone cannot do if they are determined to do it. He praised, good job. This shows me that I can trust you with these kinds of tasks in the future. She thanked him and excused herself that she will be leaving then. Tae-jun stopped her. Now, let's talk about the next few objectives for the future team. I was planning to do it on Monday, but I guess I should show the same enthusiasm to finish work early like you do. So, let's get started this weekend. The first thing we need to do is based on this data. At this point, So-eun's body and mind started to shut down. What is he even saying? I have to keep working. Her eyes swirl in circles while Tae-jun is explaining away the next projects. After not hearing anything from her, he wondered why she was so quiet. He turned around and saw her slumped on the ground. He shouted, Manager Han So-eun. Her eyes closed, with a tear forming. Mr. CEO, I'm sorry. Even if your grandfather, the president of the company, shows up, I just cannot do it anymore. At the hospital, The doctor came to report, it's a simple case of being overworked. She just needs to take a rest, and she will be fine. She can leave after she wakes up. All right, good to know. After Secretary Song got off the phone, she reported that manager Han stayed working all night the past 2 days. The past 2 days? Tae-jun asked. Yes, she just went home to take a shower early in the morning. It seems she's been working all day and night. Tae-jun was speechless. I see. Crazy. This woman is crazy. He told Secretary Song to leave first since it's pretty late. Secretary Song said she can stay, and he should leave first. Tae-jun said she should get some rest too. Then they heard So-eun snoring. That they forgot to argue about who should go home. After that, it was awkward. Secretary Song then told Tae-jun if he insisted. She will leave first? All right. Thank you for your hard work today. So-eun muffled in her sleep, alerting Tae-jun's attention. He cannot believe she wanted to go on a blind date in this state. Then her phone rings. The phone was in her bag. A phone call? Could it be? He saw the call was from the blind date. He hit the silent mode. But the call kept coming in. This guy doesn't know when to give up. He picked up the call and stated that So-eun is currently not available at the moment. The blind date asked who he's talking to then. Tae-jun felt angry. How can someone that barely knows her ask something like that? But instead, he said he's a friend of Han So-eun. Should he have So-eun call the guy back later? The blind date wanted Tae-jun to relay his message. He wanted to apologize to So-eun. He wanted to go on a blind date because he recently broke up with his girlfriend. But he reconciled with her yesterday. Because of that, please tell So-eun that he won't be able to go on the blind date. He's really sorry. Tae-jun confirmed that he will make sure to tell So-eun. After hanging up, he looked at her sleeping face. She's sound asleep, oblivious of what's happening around her. It was disgusting and frustrating at the same time. The more she tries, the more she ends up struggling in life. How can she be so bold? Do you genuinely expect to live a good life if you keep acting like this? You don't even know how to have a good life. If that was the case, if that was truly the case, then you should have stayed living calmly in my hands. He kept looking at her, and then eventually, he accepted it. To be honest, she does seem like my type, but I don't like anything else. Although I can briefly admit that. The problem comes after is, what if the fact about me getting closer to So-eun gets to my aunt or grandfather's ears? There's no way they are going to stay still. Just like me before, they're going to think that this is the wrong thing to do. So they'll spring into action. So-eun will probably be kicked out of the company, and she'll quietly disappear like she did 20 years ago. On the other hand, there probably won't be much punishment for me. After all, it's not a big deal for them to get rid of a mere employee. They won't lay a hand on me because of my status as a member of the family. But right now, I guess I don't have anything to lose by holding her. Placing his hand gently on her face. Then her eyes suddenly opened wide, scaring him. He jolted his hand back. She got up and asked, "Huh? Where am I?" He said, "You passed out, so I brought you to the emergency room. I brought my secretary Song with us, so you didn't freak out about it. By the way, your blind date was canceled." What? What are you talking about? She searched around for her phone. He reached for her phone that was next to her purse, and that guy called you. I recorded the call so you can listen to it yourself. She took the phone and listened to the whole conversation. I see. There are people that still go back to their ex-partner after breaking up. Maybe that's normal nowadays. I did not expect this to happen to me, but there's nothing I can do about it now. I'm so jealous. I wish I could have a normal relationship too. But who's going to be interested in someone like me? I'm an unmarried woman who foolishly gave a part of her liver to her ex-partner. I think around 70 or 80% of them will find me burdensome. My past, my scars. Is there anyone in this world that would accept me without any hesitation? Maybe I'll just end up living alone. But even so, I wish I could experience a normal love life at least once. The nurse came to take the IV needle out. So-eun was rubbing her eyes. Tae-jun asked if she was crying. She said it's her eyes that hurt a little. The contact lenses are irritating them. She shouldn't have slept with them on. She's sorry. Houses, school, occupation, property. None of that matters to her. She just wants to experience simple love with someone special, and if possible, a handsome one. Even though her vision is blurry at this moment, there was a handsome man in front of her, telling her that she doesn't have to apologize to him. So-eun sighed and admonished herself. Han So-eun, you sure have crazy aspirations. Thank you, Mr. CEO. Thanks to you, I think I feel much better. I think I can go back home now. Tae-jun offered to give her a ride. He doesn't think she should be wandering around without her lenses. She said she can see a little bit, but still, he reached out his hand to her. Slowly, she reached out her hand to his, and he assisted her up. Let's go. Before they left, he checked to make sure she didn't forget her phone. Then he led her by the hand. His hands feel so warm to her. In the car, he told her not to go anywhere tomorrow. Focus on resting. If she feels sick again, go to the hospital. Does she want him to bring something for her to eat? She didn't have any dinner. She didn't answer him, and when he looked over, she already knocked out cold. Wake up. We've arrived at your house already, she murmured in her sleep. 5 more minutes. Frustrated, Tae-jun questioned, Aren't you going home? What do you mean by 5 more minutes? I don't care if you were in the hospital earlier. But she was out cold. Adjustable backrest with perfect angle, air conditioner on with appropriate temperature, blanket and seat heater on. She felt too comfortable to be awake. Looking at her, he wondered how he could get her to wake up. He cannot do something like flicking someone who is in deep sleep. He kept looking at her. Then he leaned in closer. Han So-eun, wake up if you don't want to be scolded. As she was out cold, Tae-jun decided to piggyback her up the stairs to her apartment. Are you seeking revenge for making you work overtime? Or is this a venting session about a failed blind date? Yeah, sorry, my bad. Did I expect things to turn out this way? Well, they arrive at her apartment unit. It is room 304. Is this the place? It must have been written in the personnel record. He called out to her manager Han So-eun. I'm here. Press the password. And she did not budge. She still slept comfortably on his back. He yelled again. Hey Han So-eun. Manager Han So-eun. He called her name repeatedly and louder and louder. If you keep doing this, I'll leave you here and go. He was so loud that it started bothering the neighbors around. A young couple with a baby came out to complain. Seriously, why is it so noisy in the middle of the night? Please be quiet. Tae-jun wanted to cry at this point. What sin has he committed to be in this kind of situation? He carried her back out and threw her back on the passenger seat. Tae-jun complained, I've never seen someone sleep so well in their entire life. Could it be that they secretly drank after working late? Or did the hospital give them some sleeping pills? She shouldn't have another illness in her body, right? Why am I worrying about her? I'm going through a tough time too. He leaned closer to her and spoke. I'll give you an hour. If you don't get up by 12 o'clock, I'll just take you to my house. And so, after some time, he piggybacked her to his house. Han So-eun, the woman who I brought into my entire 30 years of life, you're the first. I waited long enough. A brand new day, after a much-needed rest, Han So-eun finally woke up. Humph. I slept well. When was the last time I slept so deeply? Then her pupils enlarged as she jolted up from the bed. Where the hell am I? The environment looked different. She quickly checked her clothes. She's still wearing the clothes from yesterday. Without her contact lenses, it's hard to see clearly, but it seems like there's nothing wrong with her body. She got up to stretch, same stretching routine she does after waking up. While stretching, she remembered her phone. She tossed the bed and saw her phone on the desk stand. There is a sticky note stuck on the phone with a message. It's Kim Tae-jun's house. Her body froze. Tears started forming. Her hands trembled. It's Kim Tae, the CEO? She started pacing around. It's 8 a.m. on Saturday. The last time I checked, it was a little past 10 a.m. at night. Yesterday, I worked overtime at the office until the evening. Then I collapsed and was transferred to the emergency room, as Director Kim mentioned, while chatting with the director at the hospital. What happened next? Should I go out for now? She finally left the bedroom and made her way downstairs. The house is really spacious. Is the CEO living in this large place all alone? Then in the distance, without her contact lens, she saw a blurry vision by the sink. Who is it? The director? In such a big house, besides the CEO, there could be other people. Let's go closer. But as she approached closer, he noticed her and turned to greet her. You're awake? She cried desperately inside. It was indeed the CEO. What do I do? But instead, she stuttered. CEO, hello. I know it's quite impolite from early Saturday morning, but yesterday, he nodded and replied. I've never seen someone collapse so unexpectedly, just like that, in my entire career as you. Do you know I carried manager Han Soon up to your house? I couldn't get in because you didn't tell me the password. I was about to leave you at the door, but ended up bringing you in. The more he talked, the more she wanted to die. She asked, It's just. My house is on the 3rd floor. He answered brightly. That's right. She clarified. You carried me up there, and then you came back down. He replied sarcastically. I regret that. I should have rolled down instead. By the way, the elevator here is also broken, so I carried you up the stairs to the 30th floor. Really? She shivered, panicking, and started muttering. What should I do? What should I do? He looked at her distressed expression with satisfaction. You're a fool. It's obviously a lie. Soon felt horrible about the inconveniences she caused him. CEO, I'm sorry. I pushed myself a bit too much when I wasn't feeling well, and it turned out like this. I won't create such a situation in the future. He thought she was really cute. He made breakfast and carried the food tray to the table. Let's eat. She tried to excuse herself that she will leave right away. He stopped her. Listen to me. I've been through a lot, so hear me out. He made soups with side dishes. Looking at the food, she feels like tears are about to come. She sat down and ate the food, but oh God, how can she feel this uncomfortable so early in the morning? She hated it. Tae-jun asked, Did you sleep well? She answered, yes. He stated he couldn't sleep since she took over his bed. He didn't get to sleep much. You should say sorry to me. She felt so regretful that she is going to get indigestion. I'm sorry, Mr. CEO. From now on I will. Tae-jun interrupted her. I want to fill the TF team. I'm thinking it would be good to add 2 more people, preferably people that specialize in cell phones. You can recommend someone if you want. If you don't, I'll just pick them by myself. From now on, we'll work from 6 to 7, only an hour a day. You shouldn't stay up working all night. I don't think it's common for people to lose consciousness and sleep for so long like you did. You should go to the hospital again for an examination. She really slept more than the average person. Was it because her liver couldn't handle overworking her body like that? She was hoping she could go back to her usual life, but it's clear that she won't ever be the same again. She won't push her body that far anymore. She'll make sure to take nutritional supplements too. She told Tae-jun that she knew her body well. He doesn't have to worry too much. He told her to hurry and eat before the soup gets cold. She obediently listens and spooned the food. He watched her, but the hair's strands started to fall forward, getting in the way of her face. Unconsciously, he reached out his hand. It's going to get all over her face. She should tuck it back. Then she suddenly pulled her hair back and tied it up, like witchcraft. It shocked him that she tied it without a hair tie. How? Oblivious that he too almost tucked her hair back, asked, Aren't you going to eat, Mr. CEO? He said he usually doesn't eat much in the morning. She said she was the same. She doesn't eat much in the morning either. He asked, What is she doing right now? To him, it seems she is eating pretty well. She reasoned that since he prepared it for her, she had to eat it well. Seeing her facial expression, he thought how cute she is. And unknowingly, she kept looking at her until he caught himself doing that. Panicked, he hurriedly got up and said he would be getting up first. Manager Han should take her time to eat. If she has any leftovers, she can leave them there. In a different room, he scolded himself. Kim Tae-jun, why the hell do you always act so extreme around that woman? You never act normal at all. After breakfast, So-eun went back to the bedroom to look for her bag and cell phone. She doesn't want to cause any more trouble. The CEO even had to take her to his home. She really cannot get used to this. He was so bossy when he made her work so much, but now he's treating her so nicely. He was waiting for her at the end of the stairs. Upon reaching him, he asked for her bag. Startled, she cannot burden the CEO anymore. She told him she can carry it, but then he grabbed her bag and head first. Just focus on taking care of your body and come out. She followed after him and held onto his hand. Mr. CEO, you don't have to do that anymore. I'm fine now, let me carry my own bag. But as she was pulling his arms, her elbow accidentally hit a vase. It fell off the tabletop and broke in half. Horrified, Mr. CEO, I didn't mean to. Tae-jun told her to forget it. He will call someone to replace it. Looking at the broken vase, she wondered why call someone? Who? Why? Tae-jun spoke on the phone. Hello, secretary? I'm sorry for calling so early in the morning. I have something to ask you. Do you remember the moon jar my aunt gave me a while ago? Well, let's just say that the full moon jar is now 2/2 of a moon. My aunt is going to be very disappointed. Could you find a replacement? At this point, her eyes already looked like they saw the afterlife. A gift from his aunt? That's even worse. Then Tae-jun asked, how much would that be? Oh, 5 million won. Yes, it's okay. I'll leave that to you then. Now, she froze into a statue. 5 million? Tae-jun turned around and said, it's okay, Manager Han. It's only 5 million won. So-eun cried a river and apologized. I'm so sorry. I'm always messing things up. Compared to me who struggles with money. He didn't even hesitate to pay 5 million won for a jar. He even has a very luxurious car. I cannot just leave like this. I should at least apologize properly. Mr. CEO, I'm really sorry. Just because I don't have my lenses with me. I wasn't able to be careful with the things around me. Tae-jun didn't mind. It happened because she tried to take her bag out of his hands. He is sorry for doing that all of a sudden. So-eun felt even worse. Why is he apologizing to her? He asked if she would be able to go up to her apartment alone, since she said she couldn't see without her lenses. Seeing his smiling, handsome face, her face blushed red. I'm okay. It's a route that I take every day. But he already got out of the car, walked to her side, and opened the car for her. I'll go with you. And like that, she walked first while Tae-jun followed. She blushed nervously the entire time, thinking, why is he acting like this? Why is he being so nice to her?